Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday Talks with Chug. Each week, we cover pressing topics that matter to you and your business. My name is Arianna Gonzalez from Chug Attorneys and CPAs, tuning in from our San Diego office. Please join me in welcoming partner and attorney Gladys Gervacio from our Los Angeles, California headquarters. Hi there, Gladys, and welcome.
Hi, Ariana. Glad to be back.
Thank you so much for being here. For today's topic, we will be talking all about the H-1B cap for the fiscal year 2026. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started, this conversation is for informational purposes only. It does not create an attorney-client relationship. So if you do have questions, please comment them below or email us anytime at info@chug.com and we'd love to help you out. So let's get started, Gladys. Can you tell us what the H-1B electronic registration process will look like for the fiscal year 2026?
Well, under the H-1B electronic CAP registration process, employers who want to employ, workers on H-1B and are subject to the CAP have to submit an online registration form that includes basic information about the petitioner and the beneficiary. And they have to do this online with USCIS during the registration period. So last week, USCIS announced that the registration period for fiscal year 2026 will open on March 7 at 12 noon Eastern Time. That falls on a Friday, I think, and will be open until March 24, also until 12 noon Eastern Time. USCIS then intends to notify the registrants of the selection by March 31st, and CAP petitions, H-1B CAP petitions can be submitted as of April 1st. There's usually a 90-day filing period that would end on June 30. So if you're a first-time registrant with USCIS or a company registering for the first time, you want to set up your online account now, the organizational account. If you're a company that had participated in the registration process from fiscal year 2021 to fiscal year 2024, um, when you log in next time, you'll be automatically updated. Your credentials will be automatically updated to an organizational account. And if you registered last year, then you're all set up.
Perfect. So, what are organizational accounts? For the benefit of first-time registrants, would you mind explaining what this is and what it means?
Sure, Ariana. So organizational accounts was launched by USCIS last year. This is an online platform where companies and legal representatives can collaborate online. So what happens is a company creates a company group in their USCIS online account. And in this company group, they assign an administrator. The administrator will have the authority to sign, pay for, and submit the registrations. The administrator will also have the authority to add or invite team members under him. So these members can do the data entry for the registrations, but they will not have the authority to pay, submit, or uh, the registrations. Only the administrator can do this. And so this online account, the company group account, can then collaborate with the legal representatives. It's basically a more streamlined process versus the electronic handshake that USCIS had in previous years. So this was launched last year. It's still happening this year.
Wow, that's really good to know. Yeah, they're always implementing new things to try to make this process easier for everybody involved. So, do we know what changes are coming, or are there any updates to the H-1B cap registration for fiscal year 2026?
Yes, so USCIS did announce some changes. Well, one of the biggest change I would say is the increase in the CAP registration fee from $10 to $215 per registration. So this fee increase was actually part of the fee schedule final rule that took effect last year, April 1st of last year, where USCIS filing fees were increased, including H-1Bs and else, and they implemented the asylum program fee. And this took effect on April 1st of last year. But because the registration period for fiscal year 2025 had already closed by that time, so it didn't take effect during last year's cap season. But there's no escaping it now. It's happening. The registration fee is filing fee is $215 per registration. And
Yeah, this
another,
is,
sorry,
go ahead.
sorry, Arianna. And another update I did want to mention is that the Department of Treasury has temporarily increased the daily credit card transaction limit from 24,999 to 900, not, oh, sorry, not 999, to 99,999 to accommodate, this H-1B caps. So um, they also announced some organizational enhancements, online enhancements to the organizational accounts, such as paralegals can work with multiple legal representatives, and then they're if you're filing your H-1B form on petition online, they're pre-populating some of the fields that you've already filled out in the registration form. And then there's what's called the batch data uploads. And this one, we're looking forward to this one. Employers can now prepare spreadsheets with the H-1B beneficiaries data and upload them to pre-populate the H-1B registrations. So we're looking forward to this. I'm sure clients, companies who do multiple registrations will also look forward to this, and they're expected to go live before March 7th. But one thing, I must say, one thing that has not changed is the beneficiary-centric selection approach for fiscal year 2026.
Wow, well, that's a big jump in the registration fee. But I mean, speaking about the beneficiary-centric selection process continuing for fiscal year 2026, for the benefit of any first-time H-1B cap registrants, can you talk about how the beneficiary-centric selection process works?
Sure, Ariana. So the beneficiary-centric selection process was also launched by USCIS last year, and USCIS will now select the registrations. Not, I must say, it's not by registration, but by a unique beneficiary. So they will be selecting beneficiaries instead of registration. So if USCIS receives enough registrations during the filing period, they will randomly select unique beneficiaries and send notifications to the USCIS account. So maybe a bit of background. In the past years, USCIS allowed individuals to or companies to file registrations, and these individuals may have multiple registrations filed by different employers. Some are legitimate, like they have legitimate offers from different employers, although there's also room for like fraudulent practices, right? Because they wanted to increase their chance of getting selected in the lottery. So USCIS wanted to curtail this and even level the playing field so that each beneficiary gets the same chance of being selected in the lottery. So no matter how many registrations are submitted for you, each beneficiary still gets the same chance of being selected because they will select by beneficiary, by passport information instead of by registration. So the electronic system will prohibit a beneficiary from using two different passport information. There are some instances where the beneficiary may be a dual citizen holding passports of two different countries. The beneficiary should just provide and use one passport information for that purpose.
Understood. Thank you for explaining that. That definitely does level the playing field a little bit. So, is there any advantage to registering on the first day? Why should somebody do this?
I think in terms of trying to increase your chances of selection, no, it doesn't benefit you because USCIS will consider all the registrations that were submitted during the open registration period. So whether you submitted your registration at the very first minute on March 7th or you're a lot it was submitted last minute on March 24th, you get the same chance of being selected. But I would say there is some advantage, of course, for registering early, particularly if there are payment issues. Let's say the credit card gets declined or the payment gets invalidated, then you still have time to resubmit a registration with USCIS.
Wow, really good to know. So, what happens if a beneficiary is selected in the lottery? What's the next step?
It's like really winning the lottery, right? You get selected in the lottery. Next step is the petitioner can file an H-1B cap petition for you. So the earliest filing date is April 1st. The last date to file usually is June 30th. You have to ensure that your H-1B cap petition is filed during this filing period. Otherwise, USCIS will reject that petition.
Good to know. So, I believe last year USCIS began accepting online filing of H-1B petitions. So, is that still the case for this fiscal year? And are there any advantages to filing online?
So yes, USCIS is still continuing with the online filing this year. You can file your H-1B petitions online. You can concurrently file the form I-907, 907, which is the premium processing request, also online. If you do file your H-1B petition online under regular and you want to upgrade it later on to premium processing, you have to do it online. So yes, online filing is available. But if submitted your H-1B petition via paper filing and you want to upgrade to premium processing, you have to do it via paper filing as well. USCIS said they're still working on this. There is no way yet for H-1B petitions that were filed via paper filing to be linked to the online account as of this time.
Okay, so just to confirm, petitioners can still file paper forms.
That's still the case. Employers can still file H-1B cap petitions via paper filing, but again, USCIS cannot link that to the online account at this time.
Got it. Okay. So are processing times for online filed cases faster than paper filed cases? Do we have any information on that?
USCIS says no, their processing times are the same, but in our experience, of course, there are time-saving features to filing online. For one, you don't have to wait for USPS or your FedEx to deliver the petition to the lockbox. And then you don't have to wait for the lockbox to go through their case creation steps. And most practitioners and companies know the lockbox is certainly problematic these days. So you're always encountering issues. There's that delay. And then you have to wait for the hard copy notice to come in the mail, in the regular mail, and get delivered by USPS. So those are the delays. But USCIS, those are delays are not related to their own internal workflow. Their processing times are the same, but there is some benefit to doing online filing because once you file the receipt notice is instantly generated and you're able to get the RFEs and your notices and you're able to respond to them faster.
Got it. So there are benefits to filing online, but it doesn't, increase your chances of getting selected or the processing time. So, do you have any tips for anybody who's thinking about filing an H-1B or for just the H-1B cap process? We get a lot of questions and clients asking for help with this. So, what are your best tips for this?
Well, so if you get selected in the lottery, first of all, congratulations. It's like really winning the lottery, right? Get selected in there, you're able to file your H-1B cap petition. So you want to ensure that your H-1B cap petition is approvable that it's properly filed, it won't get rejected by USCIS. Make sure all the required form fields in the I-129 are there. Ensure that you have the selection notice, you're providing the selection notice with the H-1B petition. Make sure that the information that you put in during the registration matches the information that's in the H-1B cap petition. If there are discrepancies, let's say the beneficiary updated his passport at the time you're filing the H-1B cap petition, provide an explanation to that effect. Make sure that your employment start date listed there is October 1st or later, as the case may be. What else? You must submit evidence of, again, the beneficiary's passport. Make sure the form is properly filed, and then you have to ensure that the filing fees are correct, the amounts are correct, proper checks are properly signed, and all of that. And I must say, this is one advantage to filing online, because the system already computes the filing fees for you, so you don't have to figure it out for yourself. And then also with online, the system, flags you if there are any errors, so you're able to correct that. So there's less chance, of course, of rejection versus paper filing, where you have to ensure each box is ticked and the correct filing fees are submitted. And then, of course, ensure that your LCA are there. And with paper file forms, make sure that the petitions are sent to the correct box and delivered during the filing period.
Really great advice. Thank you so much for those tips. Any final thoughts for this process? Anything you want to say about, the upcoming H-1B cap season in 2026? Anything that our viewers should know? I do appreciate you taking the time to answer all of my questions. So just want to get your final thoughts on this.
No problem, Arianna. We just want to ensure that companies, employers, beneficiaries, you all have a smooth, cap registration experience. So for those that have already registered companies, make sure that your accounts are set up, ready to go. First time registrants, now's the time to plan, set up your account, assign your administrator, decide who the administrator, who the members will be, link it with the legal representatives. And for those still planning, at this time, maybe you already have your beneficiaries or your candidates in mind, review their information and make sure that they all have valid passports, because they will require this entire registration process will require a valid passport for each of your beneficiaries.
Yes, very important things to remember. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today, Gladys. We really appreciate your time. That is all we have time for today, so this brings us to the end of our conversation. Thank you everyone for tuning in. A special thank you to Gladys for taking the time to answer all of our questions about this process. To stay up to date, please subscribe and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you have any questions or suggestions, email us anytime at info@chug.com. Let us know what topic you want to see next. And make sure to join us back here next week for more pressing topics that truly matter to you and your business. Until next time, stay safe and take care, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.